Good morning. It's July 17th. This is To My Liberal Friends. I used to like to think that the men who rose to the office of the presidency would be examples to all of us. Men who were basically honest and decent. Men who we could point to, whether they were Republican or Democrats, and know that they were basically honest men. Unfortunately, that has become something that is not always prevalent in those that have held the office. Now, I remember when I first went to work in the Senate in Washington, D.C. in 1977. Jimmy Carter had just been elected president. He was characterized as a peanut farmer from Georgia, but in fact, he'd been the governor of Georgia, a Naval Academy graduate, and a nuclear engineer. I felt that as the president, Jimmy Carter had many policy failings, but I never doubted his character. And time has proven me correct. He left the White House and returned to Georgia, where he spent his life doing many humanitarian things. He and his wife Rosalind have been devoted to each other, and President Carter is now 98 years old, in hospice care and in failing health. He was succeeded by Ronald Reagan. In his early days as an actor, Reagan was somewhat of a playboy. His first marriage ended in divorce. But once he married Nancy Davis, his life turned around. He became the governor of California. He lost a primary election to Gerald Ford in 1976, but came back to win the presidency in 1980. He was regarded as an American icon when he left office 8 years later. Reagan was called the great communicator due to his ability to connect with the American public and inspire them. George H.W. Bush followed Reagan. He had been the vice president under Reagan. He was a war hero from World War II, a pilot just out of Yale. He had a long and distinguished career as a member of Congress and later as the head of the Central Intelligence Agency. His marriage to Barbara Bush was for a lifetime, and they demonstrated that love throughout their lives. Bill Clinton was elected the president in 1992. He was from Hope, Arkansas, and had been the youngest governor to serve in Arkansas. But Bill Clinton had been known as a womanizer for many years. He had an affair with Jennifer Flowers, and Juanita Broderick alleged that Clinton raped her while he was Attorney General of Arkansas. The Paula Jones saga resulted in a lawsuit where she claimed that in May of 1991 she was escorted to Clinton's hotel room in Little Rock, Arkansas, where he propositioned her and exposed himself to her. And we all know the tale of Monica Lewinsky, the White House intern who Clinton was involved with sexually. He has many successes as a president, but he was not someone you would consider to be an example to children. George W. Bush was the former governor of Texas and served 8 years as president. His marriage to Laura Bush was never questioned. He left Washington after his term in office and returned to his home state of Texas. He has done what former presidents are traditionally supposed to do and remained off the political stage for the most part. He and his wife have been the proud parents of their two twin daughters, Jenna and Barbara. Barack Obama was elected to the presidency in 2008. He was the first black president in our history, and no matter what you feel about him politically, he has been a devoted husband and father. He and his wife Michelle put their children first in most cases. He remained in Washington after leaving office so that his daughters could finish high school at Sidwell Friends School. He's been someone that you look at and say, he's a man of character and a family man. Things all changed in 2016 when Donald Trump was elected as the 45th president of the United States. Right out of the box, you knew he was a womanizer and a vulgar man. The tape that caught him referencing to women in the most vulgar manner on NBC surfaced during the campaign. I suspect that a better opponent other than Hillary Clinton might have secured the White House for the Democrats that year. He has shown himself to be a braggart, a liar, someone that will attack anyone with the temerity to disagree with him, and in my opinion, a self-centered, egotistical tyrant. Not someone that you would say has great character. And that brings us to the current President of the United States, Joe Biden. Biden campaigned as the average Joe, who would restore dignity to the White House. He promised to unite the country, but he's done everything possible to further divide us as a nation. His presidency has been dogged by the rumors that his son had traded on his name, along with his brother Frank, to make millions of dollars. He has repeatedly said that he knew nothing about this, but it doesn't pass the smell test. As they say, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. But his biggest character failing comes from within his own family as well. His son Hunter fathered a child out of wedlock with a woman he had a brief affair with. The Biden family, including Joe Biden, have done everything possible to deny the paternity. It has been proven that the 4-year-old girl, Navy Joan Roberts, is in fact Hunter's child. It took a DNA test to prove it. But Biden will not acknowledge the child, and she will not be permitted to use the Biden name. Even a liberal columnist from the New York Times, Maureen Dowd, called on Biden to do the decent thing and accept this little girl as his granddaughter. Biden refused to do so. However, no matter what he's been asked. At Christmas, the Bidens hang stockings for 6 of their grandchildren and even include one for their dog and cat, yet ignore this little girl altogether. My point in all is this: we seem to be playing hit or miss with men of great character. My daughter, a Democrat, says she cannot allow her 2 young daughters to see Trump on TV. I get it. But does she defend Biden and his groping of women, as well as the way he treated this little girl he won't acknowledge? Maureen Dowd's coming out against Biden on this issue may break a dam among liberal media types. They may have to finally admit they've been protecting Biden because they fear Trump. It would certainly be a step in the right direction, and perhaps we can start judging these people running for the highest office based on their character. It would be a step in the right direction and something we need to get back to. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.